Hey out there, this is Jonathan Haupt, the Executive Director of the nonprofit Pat Conroy Literary Center. Thank you for joining us for another Museum at Home Monday video feature recorded right here in the Conroy Center in Beaufort. This week we're going to talk a little bit about Pat's father, Colonel Don Conroy. Colonel was one of the most highly decorated Marine aviators of his generation, and he served with distinction in World War II in Korea as a member of the Black Sheep Squadron, and then for 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. When Pat Conroy published his first novel, The Great Santini, in 1976, and the Colonel saw the truth of the family's abuse reflected back at him in a work of fiction, he understandably had a very strong reaction to that. And the exhibit piece I want to share with you is a facsimile of a letter that the Colonel wrote to Pat and to his siblings, collectively the Magnificent Seven. That letter is here in our exhibit case, a facsimile. The original is in the Conroy Archive at USC in Columbia. You can read this letter in its entirety on pages 74 and 75 of The Death of Santini. And for purposes of our short video here today, I'm just going to read the first, middle, and final paragraphs to you. Dated May 15th, 1976, to the Magnificent Seven. Let me start my epistle by simply stating that I was deeply touched by your oldest brother's latest literary endeavor. Pat is a very clever storyteller, and I was totally absorbed and encountered every emotion as, reading very slowly, life with father unfolded in this work of fiction. It was as though I knew some of the characters personally. In all honesty, I read the first 100 pages, and I was furious. At page 222, not that the page is important, I was livid and put the book down. When I resumed reading, it came easier for me. And now I look back, the writer had me, as many readers will feel much the same, in the palm of his hand. I laughed at some scenes, cried at others, figuratively speaking, of course, and you came away a better person, having lived with the Meachams. To Pat, my oldest son, may you forever wear the cloak of authority as befitting the eldest Conroy, as a sign to all of our pride in you as son and brother. And may Barbara and your children have the patience to endure the idiosyncrasies of such a clan. Signed, lovable, likable, Don Conroy, USMC, retired. There is no apology in this letter, no admission on the Colonel's part that he ever abused any member of his family. Yet from this point on, he completely transformed his life and began what Pat Conroy referred to as his great second act. Pat describes this, of course, in the memoir, The Death of Santini, story of a father and his son. And in there we encounter Don Conroy, who is attempting to prove his son wrong by becoming the best father and grandfather and uncle and friend he could be. A remarkable story of redemption, and one of many we get to tell here in the Conroy Center. Thank you all so much for joining us for another Museum at Home Monday. We'll see you next week.